Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos and on this video this morning I am going to be giving you my Wolves versus Man United preview in the FA Cup third round tomorrow 17:31 kick-off, so that is just 1 minute after 5:30, and of course it is at Molineux. This is actually now going to be a very difficult game, because Wolves are actually now a very good organised team, despite the fact they have lost their last two games. They did lose to Watford by 2 goals to 1 recently, but you've got to say Watford have rejuvenated themselves since Nigel Pearson took over, and they also lost to Liverpool 1-0. But I've got to say, my overarching view on that, Wolves were really unlucky, not to get anything from that game, because they actually had a goal disallowed. This is our fourth trip to Molineux in just 10 months, and Wolves do remain unbeaten against us in their last 4 games. The fixture in the Premier League early on this season was 1-1. Last season Wolves did a double over us at Molineux. They beat us in the FA Cup quarter final 2-1. They beat us then 17 days later in the Premier League 2-1. And I think it was 1-1 at Old Trafford last season. So recently our record has been very, very poor against Wolves. But like I said, they are a very, very good side. I think this season Wolves are replicating, what they did last season, because I think last season Wolves enjoyed a really good season. They finished 7th in the Premier League, so in that aspect, they got automatic qualification for the Europa League, and they are now, of course, into the knockout stages of the Europa League. So from Wolves' perspective, that is a priority for them. I don't, see them winning it, but I'm very, very sceptical about that. But they've still done well to progress to the knockout stages. And they enjoyed a very, very good cup run, last season. Of course, they progressed to the semi-finals of the FA Cup for the first time in 21 years. They did lose to Watford though in the semi-final by 3 goals to 2. And we've got to show a reaction, from the 2-0 loss to Arsenal. Like, Solskjaer was recently saying that, there has been periods this season, where we have done really, really well. We've showed some consistency in that, but we've failed to keep that consistency up. And Solskjaer did say if we've got any chances of getting that top 4 this season, we have to keep that consistency up. But to be fair, we do seem to react to bad results and that. But like I said, Nuno Santo is a really, really good manager. Wolves is the current 4th club he's managing, because he's managed 3 previous clubs before he went to Wolves. He managed Porto, Valencia, and of course Rayo Ave. Also, I want to, on this video as well, give you my starting 11 prediction for the game. I do believe Solskjaer in this game will rest, quite a few key players, because obviously he's aware that, the Man City game is on the horizon in the Carabao Cup, first leg at Old Trafford and that. But I've got to say, it would be good for us, to enjoy a good cup run. We haven't won the FA Cup since 2016, and that came under the Louis van Gaal era. But we actually enjoyed a good cup run last season till obviously Wolves beat us. We progressed past Reading in the 3rd round. We beat them 2-0. In that particular game, Chong had made his debut for the club. We progressed past Arsenal in the 4th round, beating them 3-1. And we obviously beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the 5th round by 2 goals to 0. So it would be good, for us to enjoy a good FA Cup run. But I don't really think the FA Cup is a priority for us. We've got around 3 ambitions, and those ambitions is the Carabao Cup, the Europa League, and of course that top 4. I think we can get some silverware on the board this season. If we could do that, that would put more confidence into the team. It would restore more winning mentality at Manchester United and that. So I think we've got a chance of winning the Carabao Cup and the Europa League and that. But we definitely know, still in that top 4 race, definitely. We are 5 points behind top 4 and that. So we definitely know are still in that race. As you all know, I gave you the latest news, didn't I, regarding Paul Pogba yesterday. As you all know, Paul Pogba is now out with another ankle injury. Solskjaer has confirmed he's out for up to 4 weeks with this injury, and it wasn't too long ago that initially, recovered from his other ankle injury, that he sustained, and he was out for around 3 months with that, so his injury, must be severe. So Paul Pogba, wasn't part of the squad that travelled to the Emirates. He wasn't part of the squad that travelled to Burnley either, and but he actually, came on as a sub against Newcastle and Watford, and actually, made a fantastic impact. For me, I just think, the club are becoming infuriated with Paul Pogba, as his relationship is starting to deteriorate with the football club, and Solskjaer's convinced that Paul Pogba will not be sold in this January transfer window. But I think if we don't sell him in this January transfer window, he will leave this summer. Because I'm very sceptical, that Paul Pogba from now will spend the entirety of his career with Manchester United and that. So obviously, due to the injuries of Pogba and McTominay, Solskjaer, does want to recruit in that midfield and that, because that midfield is one of the priority areas where Manchester United do need to strengthen up and that. But we've got to get rid of Paul Pogba. We can generate a substantial amount for his departure. I think we can get around 100 million, maybe even over the 100 million pounds for him. And then with that money, we do generate, we can probably go get around 2 or 3 players with that money. Because quite frankly, Paul Pogba feels unsettled at the club. He doesn't want to be here, and I think he wants to basically leave to rejuvenate his career. Like he did do last summer. He revealed at the beginning of last summer that he was seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly admitted, that he wanted to leave the football club. But Solskjaer, this is stemming from Solskjaer, he said that, Paul Pogba got advised to have surgery on his foot. So reportedly now he's out for up to 4 weeks. I still think he'll move to Real Madrid, because he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid last summer. But I think that the stumbling block was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we value Paul Pogba at around £150 million, and Real Madrid were reluctant to meet that. There's also still a lot of speculation about him possibly making a return back to Turin, because he did endure 4 good years in Turin, and obviously analysing the vast majority of his performances at Man United, they've been totally comparison to his ones in Turin. Paul Pogba was also speculation about him going to Barcelona before, but since he come, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, not only now, not only last summer. There was also a lot of speculation from the mainstream media about him leaving under Jose Mourinho's guidance. Obviously, because he enjoyed a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. Pogba's still got around 16 months left on his current contract. The club have an option to extend his contract though by a further year, and he's on a substantial amount at the club. He's on around 290 grand a week, and of course at this present time he's our most expensive signing, because we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba. But yeah, I think, we do need to get rid of him. Like I said, with McTominay, he's out until February. He's out, could be out for up to 8 weeks. Solskjaer initially thought at the first that he was going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. This is what he said. But I think now the injury is more severe than we first initially thought. It wasn't too long ago that McTominay had recovered from an ankle injury, and I've got to say, McTominay is going to be a big miss in that midfield for us, because McTominay has been a revelation this season, reflecting on his good run of performances and that, But injuries are now starting to occur again, and analysing it anywhere this season, we have had a lot of injuries. I think Bay and Fosu-Mensah now are closer to returning for us. Bay's been out of an injury since pre-season. Fosu-Mensah's been out of an injury, since he was on loan with Fulham and that. I think Rojo is still out. But most of them now are returning, which is very, very good news. So, yeah, very, very delighted about that. As you saw, my match reaction, it was yesterday, for for the Arsenal-Man United game. Of course, we lost against Arsenal by 2 goals to 0. It was an absolutely dreadful performance by Manchester United. You know, a lot of Man United fans were saying that, you know, Solskjaer's team selection was wrong. And I think anywhere for the vast majority of this season, he has been tactically naive. And that's obviously, you know, an element of concern. You know, in the game against Arsenal, I think he shouldn't have started Luke Shaw. He should have started Brandon Williams over Luke Shaw. Maybe shouldn't have started Lingard. There was a lot of Man United fans saying we should have played Pereira over Jesse Lingard and that. But there was not one good individual performance against Arsenal. You know, there wasn't one, and I credited Arsenal and match reaction. You know, they fully deserved the victory. You know, there was quick on the ball. You know, they created a lot. They created chances. You know, they didn't really allow us to have time on the possession, and you know, they fully deserved it. And I was, prior to the game, I was actually, you know, confident. You know, we was going to beat Arsenal. You know, because we'd been in a good run of form. You know, we'd had back-to-back wins against Newcastle and Burnley and that. And like I said, Arsenal have been very inconsistent this season. You know, but to be fair, I think, you know, Arsenal have rejuvenated themselves since they did recommend Mikel Arteta in. You know, he's only managed 3 games so far as Mikel Arteta. You know, but I've seen a variety of changes at Arsenal since he took over. I know Arsenal didn't win the first 2 games. They drew with Bournemouth and they lost to Chelsea. To be fair, I thought they was unlucky to lose to Chelsea in that. But, you know, maybe Arteta, you know, is the right man. From my own perception, I don't think he's a long-term solution for Arsenal. Obviously, he knows Arsenal inside out, you know, just like Solskjaer knows Man United inside out. So, in that aspect, you know, they do replicate each other. But you saw what I did the other day. I think, obviously, I said, you know, that Arteta and Solskjaer are totally a comparison and that, you know. Because I said, didn't I think Solskjaer's a better manager than Mikel Arteta. Solskjaer hasn't really got a pedigree behind him in terms of management, but obviously he's got more managerial experience than Mikel Arteta in that, because Solskjaer, you know, managed Mould and Cardiff before he got recommended in to Manchester United. Don't forget, you know, Arsenal's the first club that Arteta is managing, you know, because obviously before he was at Arsenal, he worked alongside Pep Guardiola for around 3 years as a coaching assistant at Manchester City. So he did actually, you know, work alongside one of the best managers in the world and that, you know. But fair play, you know, Arsenal did fully deserve the victory in that. And that was actually, you know, my 6th defeat of the Premier League season. 6th defeat of the Premier League season. I think we've drawn 7 this season. We've lost too many games. We've drawn far too many games. But it's just been the story of our season. Like I said on my recent videos, you know, we've done really well against elite opposition this season. We have done really, really well against elite opposition, but we haven't really replicated that against lower opposition. And you can say that is an element of concern, definitely. But we expect to see a reaction from the players going into the game against Wolves. So now I am going to give you my starting 11 prediction for this game. I do believe Solskjaer is going to go with a 4-2-3-1 formation, because he's been going with that formation on a regular basis this season. You know, maybe some aspects it's suited our standards, but I think for the vast majority of this season, that system hasn't suited our standards in that. I think maybe Solskjaer should try a different formation. Maybe he should revert to 3 at the back, or maybe he should go with a 4-3-3 formation. But I think he'll stick with the 4-2-3-1. Like I said, he'll go with a pretty strong lineup, but I think he'll maybe rest quite a few key players. So I'm going to go with David De Gea in goal. You know, he'll keep his place in goal. I think Wan-Bissaka, you know, could be arrested in this game actually. You know, I think, you know, he's been one of our most consistent signings as Wan-Bissaka, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think he has been immense. But I'm going to go with Ashley Young at right back, actually. You know, I'm going to go with him. He has initially lost his place in the team, Ashley Young, you know, since the arrival of Wan-Bissaka, because Wan-Bissaka has established himself as our first choice right back under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think Young at right back. I think probably, Jones will get an opportunity in this game, so I think probably, Phil Jones will play alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. I think, we will actually, rest Harry Maguire. I think at left back we will start Brandon Williams. Luke Shaw may come on in the game, but I don't think he will start. The two in the midfield, it probably will be Fred and Matic, and that does really concern me because I don't think they really blend well together in our midfield, do Fred and Matic. And the prime example of that was in the game against Arsenal, because they were both awful, in the game against Arsenal. I think the number 10, well, we've got a few players that can play the number 10. You've got Lingard that can play the number 10. You've got Pereira that can play the number 10. And you've got Juan Mata that can play the number 10. Maybe Juan Mata, could get given the opportunity. There again, Mata, can play on the right or the left. You've got Pereira that can play on, in the middle or the right or the left. I'm going to go with Juan Mata in that number 10. Maybe Rashford could be rested in this game as well. We'll go with Daniel James on the left. We'll go with Mason Greenwood on the right, and we will go with Martial up top. So that is my starting 11 prediction for this game against the Wolves. Like I said, regarding Mason Greenwood, I think he needs to start a lot more games from the start. Solskjaer needs to play more on a regular basis, because he hasn't really started a lot of games from the start in the Premier League, so far this season. I think Mason Greenwood is already on 8 senior goals for the football club so far this season. And like I said, overall anyway, we have got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. I think the likes of Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, Tuanzebe, maybe James Garner. I think all of them will become successions at the football club. I have got some element of concerns about, some of the young upcoming players. And this is why I did say, maybe in this January window or maybe, this summer, it will be beneficial, to offload them permanently or, put some of them out on loan. And that's one aspect to me, that does credit Solskjaer. He's got a lot of trust in his young upcoming players. But to be honest with you, I think he does rely on the kids too much. Because he did initially confirm at the start of this season, did Solskjaer anywhere, that all the youngsters would get given their opportunities. And I think since he come in, he's given around 10 former academy players their debuts and that. So that's really, really good and that. So yeah, the game against Wolves, we need to see a total comparison performance to what we saw against Arsenal, definitely in that. And like I recently said, I think, aspects of our game have improved, in some games. They seem to have improved, where we've actually, seen to create more chances. We've been scoring more goals. Certain players have stepped up to the plate and that. But I think there has been players that have been in really good form for us this season, to be fair. They have been in really good form for us. Rashford, Martial and Daniel James, that trio have all done well. They wasn't so good against Arsenal, but I think prior to that, they have mainly done well. You've got Rashford, of course, that's on 16 goals for the football club this season. You've got Martial, that's on around 10 goals, so that's 26 goals between them. And I think they've done really, really well. And I think you've got to say Martial does add more inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch. And he does help the likes of Daniel James and Marcus Rashford. As you all know now, Martial does play in that number 9. He plays centrally. We do know, obviously, analysing the vast majority of his Man United career, prior to this season, he's operated out wide because that's actually his predominant position, but we've realised that he's more effective in that central position. So obviously now Rashford does operate out wide, I think, like I said, McTominay's done really, really well. I think Fred is flourishing as a Manchester United player. I still think there's a lot of aspects of his game that do need to improve. I think mainly Lindelof and Harry Maguire have done really well at the back. They've blended in very, very well together. You've got to say, Harry Maguire has addressed our defensive deficiencies. And I do agree that we overpaid for Harry Maguire. Obviously, we paid, £80 million for him from Leicester last summer. But, we're known for overpaying for players anyway. Prime example, like I just said, Maguire, 80 million, Fred, 50 million. You know, Pogba £89 million. And like I said, it's not always about spending big on players and, you know, getting them Galactico players. Maybe sometimes, you know, it would be more sensible, you know, it would be more beneficial, sorry, you know, to be sensible with your recruitment. But I think our culture is actually, you know, creating, he's actually, you know, creating big players, you know, not buying big players, and that is actually, you know, Man United's culture, and that, you know, to be fair. But, you know, yeah, and I do believe, you know, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. Like I have seen, like I've said to you guys on recent videos, you know, I think we need a new board, because our board have been a liability for several years. You know, I think, you know, Ed Woodward, he's a liability as well, so he replicates the board. I think we also need to get rid of the Glazers, get rid of the coaching staff. I think we also need a change of management, and I still believe, you know, these more players that need to leave Manchester United. You know, despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival, you know. Obviously, we know the players that left last summer. You know, Valencia left at the end of last summer. After he enjoyed 10 years at the football club. Obviously, you know, Chris Smalling had gone out to Roma last summer. You know, he enjoyed 9 years at the football club. You know, Darmian, of course, left. Obviously, you know, Ander Herrera left. You know, I think that was one mistake Man United did make, was letting Ander Herrera go, because you could say was arguably one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. And it infuriated me more that we let his current contract run down and we let him go on a free transfer when we paid around, was it £29 million for him from Atletico Bilbao. You know, we shouldn't have let him go on a free transfer. Fellaini, of course, left in the last January transfer window. He went to China. You know, it was the sensible thing to do, getting rid of Fellaini anyway, because analysing the vast majority of his 6 years he was at Man United, he was mainly inconsistent. And again, we overpaid for him when we got him from Everton. We paid just over £27 million for him. You know, Lukaku and Sanchez, of course, both left. They both went to Inter Milan. You know, Lukaku enjoyed 2 years at Manchester United. You know, he scored 42 goals in 96 games for us in all competitions and that, and he's obviously got a good pedigree in the Premier League. And maybe some Man United fans will feel as though maybe we shouldn't have got rid of him, but we had to get rid of him. There was no alternative, because, you know, he initially lost his place in the team to Marcus Rashford. Again, when we got him back in 2017 from Everton, you know, we overpaid for him, because we paid £75 million for him. But I'm very, very delighted that, you know, we got £70 million in from Inter Milan last summer. So more or less, you know, we recouped the money that we did pay for him from Everton. You know, Sanchez, obviously, you know, he went out on loan, you know, with Inter Milan. You know, he enjoyed difficult 18 months with Manchester United. And when we signed Sanchez in January 2018, you know, I thought he would have performed to the standards as we expected from him. I thought, you know, he would have replicated, you know, what he did like at Arsenal and Barcelona and that, because he actually played under Pep Guardiola's guidance at Barcelona. But I thought Sanchez enjoyed a good, 3.5, 4 years at Arsenal. And I think he's overall had a good career prior to his 18 months he had there with Man United. And Sanchez actually, you know, sustained quite a lot of injuries as a Manchester United player. You know, so quite a lot of players have currently left. And Italy, you know, was a very popular destination for the vast majority of our players in the summer. You know, and that. But you've got to say, since the departures of Lukaku and Sanchez, you know, we have looked very exposed in that attack of our line. But, you know, with how good Mason Greenwood's been in that, I don't think Solskjaer's really got an element of concern regarding our attack of options. So I think he knows that midfield is more of a priority than that attack of our line. Possibly, I presume we obviously need a right winger, and there's possibly no other areas in the squad as well that do need to be addressed. But I think the players, you know, Man United need to consider getting rid of in this January window and perhaps this summer. I think Young is definitely one of the players that does need to leave the football club, because I think he's one of the problematic players. He's Ashley Young. You know, like I said earlier on in the video, he's initially lost his place in the team. I think we are set to release him at the end of the season when he comes to an end of his current contract. You know, because we give Young a new 1 year extension last season. Last season it was, yeah. Young's been a long-serving player at Manchester United. You know, he's now into his 9th season. He's entered Jordan 8 years here. Young's versatility is good though. When he was younger, he was actually no right winger, was Ashley Young. But as he was developing more, he transformed into a formidable fullback. A few times he's played at left back. I think on the odd occasion he has played as a left winger. But Young's past his sell-by date at the football club. You know, he's now, what, 34. He's nearly 35 years of age. So we need to get rid of him. You know, I think Phil Jones, you know, he's another one of the problematic players. Like I said, his appearances are limited in the Premier League, but he'll get his opportunities in the Carabao Cup or the Europa League. You know, Jones has been here more or less the same amount of time as Ashley Young. You know, Jones has enjoyed 8 years here. He's now into his 9th season at the football club. You know, what we should have done is last summer, we should have actually kept Smalling and got rid of Phil Jones, because, you know, comparing Jones and Smalling, you know, I think Smalling's a much better centre-half than Phil Jones. And Jones signed a new long-term contract last season, but we've got a lot of centre-halves in the team, despite the fact that Chris Smalling went. I think we've got around 6, or is it 7 centre-halves. Rojo, he's another one of our centre-halves, but he can also play as a full-back and a wing-back now. I'm surprised Rojo didn't leave Man United in the summer, to be fair, because obviously, you know, he was subjected to quite a lot of transfer speculation. Don't forget, Everton had inquired about getting Rojo. You know, I think Rojo's got just under 2 years left on his contract with Man United. If he doesn't leave in January or this summer, but I think he will leave at some point in his future, will Rojo. Like I said, he replicates Phil Jones in that aspect, that his appearances are also limited in the Premier League, and I've got to say, Rojo sustained quite a lot of injuries as a Man United player. I don't think to the extent of Eric Bailly, because Bailly has sustained a hell of a lot of injuries, and Bailly is very injury prone. And due to him being injury prone, these Manchester United fans saying maybe we should get rid of him. But, you know, when he's fully fit, he shows great potential. He holds that line really, really well. And it's good now that he's closer to returning. Definitely, you know, the Nemanja Matic is one of the problematic players. You know, he has actually initially lost his place in the team as Matic, you know, due to his inconsistency. And that was totally a comparison to last season. Because last season he was first choice in that. But obviously now we're going to have to start playing him a bit more, because there's no alternative, because obviously we've got McTominay and Fred injured. But I've got a lot of element of concerns about Matic, and, you know, from our perspective, we'd want to cash in for him this month. That would be beneficial, you know, rather than, you know, let him go on a free transfer at the end of the season when his current contract does expire. But again, we overpaid for Matic. You know, we paid, what, £40 million for him from Chelsea. He's now aging up. He's, what, around 31 or is he 32 years of age. But he just doesn't complement our midfield whatsoever. So we do need to get rid of him. You know, maybe some people saying we should get rid of Lingard, because Lingard, you know, has not performed to the standards as we should expect him, and like I've said on my videos from before, reflects on his status at the football club and that, and reflects on the number of years he's been here. You know, he should be, you know, providing more consistency, definitely. But he has sustained quite a few injuries this season. Lingard was atrocious against Arsenal, by the way. I think he was actually one of the worst players on the pitch, definitely. So yeah, more players definitely do need to leave the football club. It was a shame during the summer that we didn't get a director of footballing. You know, I think that's one of the structural changes that we needed at the football club, and that, you know, Solskjaer did say a while back he was happy with the club's current structure, so he felt as though that we didn't need a director of football. You know, obviously Ed Woodward's perception is totally comparison to Solskjaer's, because Ed Woodward did say he was actually keen on recommending one in. You know, there was quite a few former Man United players linked to that director's role during the course of the summer and that. But like I recently said to you guys, you know, these are some of the stuff Solskjaer came out with not too long ago. He said that he expects a successful 2020 with Manchester United. You know, obviously we've enjoyed a difficult start to 2020, you know, with that 2-0 defeat to Arsenal. And Solskjaer now knows that he's into his second year at the football club. He has got many expectations to exceed. You know, I just feel as though that the expectations are too high for him at Manchester United. But hopefully this year we can enjoy a better year than what we saw for the vast majority of last year. Because for the vast majority of last year, we was very inconsistent, you know, prior to that 3-month period when Solskjaer was the interim manager. Because we did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. You know, the results were good, the performances were good, and he exceeded expectations and that. And, you know, Solskjaer won his first 8 games in charge. You know, he won, 10 games out of 13 in the Premier League, and then won 14 out of 19 in all competitions. So obviously, you know, reflecting on how we did in that 3-month period, that was obviously, you know, enough to convince us to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis and that, you know. But it seemed to have all gone wrong, you know, since he has got the job on a full-time basis. But yeah, he's been here over a year. I think he's been permanent manager now for nearly 10 months and that. But I'm still very sceptical that Manchester United, you know, will sack him. You know, maybe in time to come, but it won't be now. I'm still very sceptical that he will see out his 3-year contract at the football club. But I can assure he will be here this month. I can probably assure he will still be here at the end of the season, because the club are determined to back him. You know, we're going to give him, you know, this month, you know, to spend some money on recruiting new players, and we're going to give him until the summer. You know, it's not guaranteed that we'll make any signings in this January transfer window, but I think Solskjaer, you know, does want to recommend around 2 or 3 players in this January transfer window. But, you know, reportedly, you know, Solskjaer's going to get unlimited funds anyway. You know, I think estimating we're going to spend from maybe 250, 300, maybe 300 to 350 million pounds on recruiting new players. But I've got to say, I think we need at least 4 to 5 more signings if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club, and if we are, you know, to be up there challenging for major honours and that. You know, we know obviously, you know, Solskjaer is aware that obviously, you know, we're not on that level as we should, as what we should be in. You know, and it's going to take us quite a few years at least, you know, to emulate to that level, because at the moment City are strides ahead of us, Liverpool are strides ahead of us, you know, so take that into account. Yeah, Solskjaer did say, you know, he still expects ups and downs, but obviously he hopes some more ups than downs. But we are aware, you know, this is a transition period, and Solskjaer is hopeful, you know, that we can get through this transition period. You know, I'm very, very hopeful about that. But, you know, we're sitting, like I said, we're sitting 5th in the league. We're 21 games into the Premier League season. There's still a lot of points to play for. But, you know, a lot of money's been spent at Manchester United, you know. I think we spent nearly £1 billion on recruiting new players. That's what we spent, nearly £1 billion. You know, £67 million was spent under Moyes. Over £200 million was spent under Van Gaal. £400 million, or just under 400 million, was spent under Mourinho, you know, and obviously around 150 million pounds was spent in the last summer under the Solskjaer era and that. You know, so a hell of a lot of money's been invested into the football club. Not only that, you know, we've also got players on big contracts. Just also like to reveal that Solskjaer has got the worst win ratio. He's got the worst win ratio, you know, than Mourinho, Van Gaal, and David Moyes. But I haven't seen any improvements anywhere under Solskjaer, you know, than what I saw under them managers. You know, we don't want to persistently keep sacking managers, because we're not really known for the sacking football club, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers, you know, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. You know, Solskjaer is basically, he wants, you know, to emulate into Ferguson. You know, he wants us to replicate, you know, what we did under Alex Ferguson. But I just can't see Solskjaer, you know, invoking Ferguson's legacy at the football club. I don't see that happening whatsoever. So, you know, just wanted to take that into account and that. But I think if Solskjaer is to be sacked anyway, I think it's very, very imminent that, you know, Pochettino will be our next manager, provided, you know, that he doesn't get another job by the time Man United do sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. Like I said, I think Pochettino is totally comparison to Solskjaer. perception on it, Pochettino's a much better manager than Solskjaer. He's well Premier League proven. He's got a lot more managerial experience. You know, hasn't won out in terms of silverware. You can say that's an element of concern. But prior to that, I think he's a good manager. He's got great managerial credentials. You know, he's good at developing young players. And I think he would be the right man for Manchester United. And you've got a lot of Man United fans now demanding Mauricio Pochettino in, you know. But we was in for him after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December of last year. You know, we was in for him. But obviously, you know, our preference was Solskjaer because we saw that Solskjaer was a cheaper solution. Solskjaer, you know, did well in that 3-month period, so we decided to stay with him. But, you know, we actually, you know, should have got Pochettino in. Pochettino, as you all know, is managerless at the moment. He got sacked by Tottenham. You know, he enjoyed a good 5.5 years with Tottenham. He also enjoyed a good short tenure with Southampton. And before that, he was Espanyol. So far, he's managed 3 clubs in total. And 2 of those clubs have been Premier League clubs. You know. So I think he'll be our next manager if Solskjaer now is to be sacked. But I like Solskjaer a lot, you know, whether, you know, his managerial tenure at Man United works out or not, you know, we still love him a lot because we'll never forget, you know, what he has done for the football club, you know. But I just don't think he's good enough as a manager. He just doesn't have any intuition on how to manage, especially a big football club like Manchester United. And that's just my opinion on that. And, you know, obviously, like Sir Ed Woodward and our boards and the vast majority of our players have got different perceptions on us regarding Solskjaer. You know, they're still backing him. They still feel as though he's the right man to elevate the club forward. So this is from their own perception that, you know. But anyway, love to watch Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. I think he's done one, you know, building up to the game tomorrow in the Cup. You know, obviously, I presume he will be providing us with some team news and that. So, yeah. And also I think it will be later on today. I will be back on to give you an update on some more transfers. It is a transfer daily show as always. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.